Hi guys, today my new metal bandsaw did arrive. It is the Bernardo HBS 150 Zeta, and I wanted to show you how it works. I made a very big research, and I was looking for a saw that is very silent and in the same time very powerful. And I had already one from another brand, an Italian brand, and the saw is actually very good, but it is a smaller one, more for hobby, and it is less powerful, and the very bad point is that it is very loud. And for that reason I was looking for a newer one, and as I was researching, I found this model here that costs around 1,200 euros, and it is a cooled version. So you put water and a special oil together, and when you cut there is this coolant that cools down the blade. And I have to say that I'm using it already for a week or a little bit more than a week, and I'm very happy, because the saw is extremely silent and extremely powerful, at least for what I'm doing. I cut rounds of more or less 40 or 50 millimeters in diameter. And another very important thing is that you can regulate the speed with this knob here, and you see you can regulate it without any limit. Another important thing is that you can change the angle not only from 0 to 45 degrees, but from 0 to 60 degrees, which makes again a quite big difference between the cheaper versions that you can find around and this one here. The weight is around 100 kilograms, and already this shows you that the amount of material is enough so that the saw is extremely rigid, and it makes very straight cuts and clean cuts. And the question is this too much for someone that uses it for smaller works or hobby? In my opinion, it is not too much, because if you consider that a normal horizontal bandsaw costs around 500 or 600 euros, by spending 500 euros more, you have an object that is much more professional than the smaller saws. So actually you have to to decide if you want to make to yourself a small present and buy something that you will use many years, and this object actually works extremely well. Let's see how it works, so you can see what I mean. The horizontal bandsaw has a quick action vise that can be easily operated using a lever. We will see that in the video later. I had never seen such a system before, but I have to admit that it works very quickly and very safely. The coolant device has two nozzles that can be set up manually by turning a little blue tap that you can see on the screen, and you can turn it on and off, and the liquid supply is more than enough. In fact, I had to close the nozzle to 70%, because otherwise it was really too much liquid that was coming out. As with all horizontal bandsaws, you can of course tension the saw band so that the cuts will be straight and clean, and the saw frame is really strong and well made. So about this point I am very glad about the saw. Also, the engine is impressive. It is 1.1 kilowatt strong, and it is extremely quiet, which was another factor for which I have chosen this model. Also, the coolant pump is more than enough and has a strength of 100 watts. Since we are talking about a professional machine, we also have a very practical hydraulic lowering cylinder. With the blue tap you can start or stop the lowering action, and with the little knob you can set up the speed. The control surface is also very easy to use. It has of course a safety switch, and the saw and the liquid pump can be switched on separately, so that you can decide to use only the saw or only the liquid pump. Of course, the cutting speed can be set up variably, which is a very practical thing, and not all band saws have this great option. For example, my old one was not provided with this option, and it had only 2 speeds, and this was a really big limitation for me. The tank for the coolant holds around 4 to 5 liters and is more than enough. I find it in any case not a very good thing when the tank is too big, because you would have to fill it up with too much liquid, and at the end this is equivalent to a much higher cost. So 4 to 5 liters is perfect. You can change the liquid every 2 or 3 weeks, and it is perfect in this way. Last but not least, I also wanted to go and see how strong the structure is, and I have to admit that I was extremely surprised. The thickness of the frame of the base is 3.5 millimeters thick, and this is much more than other brands offer. The base is extremely stable, and you know what to spend the money for. So this is a very important thing for me. You don't pay just for the function of the saw, but you pay also for a certain quality, and so this is a very big compliment to Bernardo. I suggest him to go on in this way, because the clients of course are much more happy to spend in this kind of object, where at the end you don't get just a professional saw, but a professional saw with a certain strength, and this is very, very important for the end user, in my opinion. Okay, so now we are going to start and cut something real. I have a piece of steel of 30 millimeter in diameter, and to fix the piece you have just to move down the lever, and it's really easy to do. I was amazed at how firm the workpiece is fixed in the vise. Now I will lower the hydraulic cylinder, and also this is really useful. My previous saw didn't have such a system, and it was much more difficult to use it. Now I'm switching on the coolant pump, and as you can see, you can do it separately, so you can decide whether you want to use it or not. And of course also the cutting speed can be set up in an infinite way, so you can really put a very precise speed. Of course it is also extremely useful to be able to modify the speed during the cut. Many smaller saws have just 2 speeds or maximum 3 speeds, and it is much more difficult to handle to cut a bigger piece, but having the knob to turn, it makes it much more easy to decide the speed depending at what point you are in cutting your workpiece. At the moment I'm not using the full speed. I think I'm around 20% or so, and even I'm at a minimum power. You can see that the workpiece is cut like butter, so I'm really happy about the power of the machine. You see that it switches off automatically, so this is a very nice option. So during the cut you can do also something else, and as soon it finishes to cut, it stops automatically. Now let's make a cut of 45 degrees. What I like in this machine is that it is constructed in a very precise way, so that if you want to move the blade to a certain angle, it is really easy. You put a minimum effort and it moves almost by itself. So you can see also the degrees are displayed with very big numbers,
and it is really easy to read. Then we fix it by turning the lever, and then now you will see how fast it will cut. It's a piece of 30 by 30 millimeters, and the thickness is 2 millimeters. And now you will see how fast it is. I was really amazed because my old saw was taking quite a lot, and this makes really a change when you make some bigger project. You see, it's really great. If you like my video, give me a thumb up, I would be very glad, and if you want, you can subscribe my channel, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye, take care.